Well, retirement is supposed to be the most relaxing chapter of life, but for many seniors, money questions that can still come up at night, especially, this time of year with tax season. But joining us today is Mark Lamkin, here to break down the 5 biggest financial questions retirees are asking right now. I'm sure your phone is ringing off the hook lately.
We've had a little bit of calls, but not too many, But, retirement's supposed to be about travel, fun, and worrying about that new grandchild Sterling and playing with him, not about waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. and wondering about your retirement or if I'm going to run out of money. So these questions are the ones that I get asked most often, so I thought it'd be a great topic.
Absolutely, and you hit on the very first one. Probably the number one question you get asked is, how do I make sure I don't run out of money?
Absolutely the number one, without question. And most people do it backwards. They build their portfolio first or build their investments first and then just hope for the best, So what I tell people is you need to understand your family index, probably something you never heard of, right?
Right.
So family index is that rate of return that you need to pull from your investments to have the retirement of your dreams and enrich the world for your legacies. Let me give you a quick example.
Okay.
So Social Security and pension, let's say they average $3,000, but you spend $5,000, so that gap's $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to times that by 12. That's $24,000 divided by your investments. That's going to give me your percentage. That's what I call your family index, and that's how we're going to build your portfolio. And if you don't know what that percentage is, because some folks it's 3%, some folks it's 5%,
mm-hmm.
some folks it's 12%. I'm not David Copperfield. You're going to run out of money, right? So we got to understand that. We build it. We make sure you don't run out.
That is really good to know. And then the second one, should I still be in the stock market?
Great question. Cable news makes it sound like the end of the world when the market's off 800 points or 900
mm-hmm.
points. Most folks don't understand, Elle, that once a year, the market comes off about 3 to 5% at least. That's 2,500 points. The Dow didn't even used to be 2,500 points, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get that volatility. You still need growth because a lot of people plan for the first 10 years of retirement really well. But what about the second and third 10 years? So here's something really easy. Take 100 minus your age, right? Say you're 50 years old, 100 minus 50, 50% of your assets should be in stocks. If you're 70 years old, 30% of your assets should be in stocks. So that's just a good general rule of thumb. I like to see at least a third, regardless of how old you are, but it depends on the client.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I never even thought of that
Yeah.
one before. And so it is tax season. So how do I reduce taxes on my retirement income?
So tax reporting is different than tax planning, right? So with this big, beautiful bill, from your age to my mom and dad's age, there's tax credits, tax loopholes, there's tax breaks for everyone, right? So I want you to wait till after April 15th, take your last 2 years of taxes. I want you to meet that CPA, that tax accountant, or if you do it yourself, and research that bill and understand that it's what you make's important, but what you keep's even more important. So if I can make you $1 in taxes, it's just like $1 of earnings. So it impacts your Social Security, your Medicaid premiums. It impacts a lot. So you pay taxes differently in retirement, and you have to plan that. And now through April 15th, they don't have time to do that.
Right, they don't. And it's coming up, it's coming here so quickly too. And so you kind of hit on it too, healthcare. I mean, it is skyrocketing nowadays. So what about healthcare and long-term care?
Number one reason people continue to work is healthcare. Fidelity did a research, $172,500 is the average amount of money people spend on health insurance. 65% of people in retirement are going to use some type of long-term care, right? So you insure your house, your car, maybe even your iPad there, right?
Yeah.
So insure your retirement, insure your health, make sure that you're doing things right. And Medicare doesn't take care of everything, so make sure that you just take time, have that written health care plan. If you don't have one, meet someone like me, then we can kind of walk you through that.
Yes, and final question, how do I leave money to my kids without hurting myself?
All right, this is my airplane rule. You ready?
Yeah.
When you're sitting on that tarmac ready to take off and the flight attendant says, if the air masks come down, put your mask on first, right? You got to take care of yourself first. So some people's idea of legacy planning is like, when I write that last check, I'm going to die, and that's fine, and it bounces, right?
Yeah.
Some people want to leave millions of dollars, so it's a written plan. Make sure you contact your attorney. Make sure that if you need a Medicare consultant or Medicare attorney so you don't spend down your assets, there's a lot of ways to do it. Just consult that professional and understand what you truly want and then simply have a written plan for it.
There you go. And that's why you got to call Mark
That's
in
right.
order to do it.
We're here for you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for stopping by today and every single Wednesday. So again, if you're interested in getting in touch with this team, just head over to lamkinwealth.com.
Wealth Wednesday on Great Day Live is sponsored by Lamkin Wealth Management.